I like it.
Christmas, yeah, it's not a biggie. This year's almost gone. I'm gonna feel sad. Nothing happened this year. But I don't know why. I feel I can be a good.
There's something charming about this band. I don't know what it is. Say Sue Me. Say Sue Me. There's like cliche guitar licks all over it, but the girl singing, I don't know, it reminds me of the Go-Go's. Reminds me of kind of the 80s pop, 80s revival pop. Sexy guitars, they're playing the Fender guitars. That's like a lick from... Her voice is wonderful. Yeah, maybe they're Korean. I don't know where they're from. Say Sumi. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Nick, Nathan Purvis, Lee Feldman in the house. Lee Feldman, what's up, Lee? My big mama. Big mama in the house. HOR 104. What's up, Carol Hayes? Good morning, Carol Hayes. Carol Hayes. Mitch Candiano. Hey, Rich, how you doing? Mitch Candiano, how you doing, man, Mitch? Hey, a long time watcher, first time chatting. Hey, welcome, man. It's nice to participate. CV, good morning, CV. I saw you.
Discover new music at Listener Pod.
So that's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool song. I'll play it again later, man. So we're gonna talk about some stuff, man. Wow. So the big stimulation. Shut you off. Big stimulation. Do you feel stimulated? Oh, man. So I'm feeling stimulated, right? We're going to talk about the stimulation package. $2 trillion ready to hit the market, maybe more, right? Maybe more, maybe less. I don't know. It's hard to tell, right? With all the Republicans and Democrats grabbing whatever they can, surrounded by lobbyists, trying to get in there, trying to get more for themselves and less for the people. All right, one another, this is probably the biggest. If you really think about it, it's the biggest transfer of wealth, again, in U.S. history. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you how it's done, how they're doing it, why it isn't in the best interest of the country to do what they're doing. It's just a Band-Aid. We'll get maybe 5 or 10 years out of it. Everything will recover, it'll recover. But it's, again, essentially the essence of the problem, right? Until every time they hit the economy with $1 trillion, and print $1 trillion or computer data $1 trillion into the markets and into the economy, what it does is it dilutes the value of the dollar globally. But so long as we have our guns pointed at everybody's heads, right, as long as we're overthrowing countries and embargoing and causing all kinds of shit all over the world, no one's going to challenge us, right? But once that dollar teeters, or once our military-industrial complex steps off, we are fucked. The dilution of the dollar is really what's going on, because there is no accountability for the way our government is paying for these pseudo bailouts. A shutdown, it's all under the umbrella of relief. Why let it's a tragedy, right? The coronavirus scared the shit out of a lot of people, so much so that they ran out of toilet paper. They had to run to the store and get toilet paper. They're shitting in their pants. They're scared. They don't have the resources to weather the storm like a big bank. All the small businesses are shut down. I'll tell you what the power grab is. The power grab is the large corporations that control everything. The 1% is now going for small business. They're going to try it's assets on sale. Everything is going to go on sale because the small businesses are choking right now. Restaurants, 7-Eleven, not 7-Eleven, but 99-cent stores, all the discount stores, all of the small to medium-sized businesses are choking and suffering right now, and they're not getting a bailout. They're getting loans. And I'll tell you more about that. So that is the play now. Since Wall Street, they can't make anything more on the market because they drove everybody out. Now they're going for real assets. They're going to start to squeeze small business so that the monopoly gets bigger. Right? I used to get all worked up about this stuff. It used to frustrate me, and it used to, the veins would pop out of my neck when I saw what they were doing. Now it's just business as usual. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no mystery whatsoever to what the government is doing, what your politicians are doing in cahoots with the large corporations. They're cutting deals so that the corporations continue to get stronger and stronger. They cannot fail. They cannot fail. It's written into the legislation. They're never going to be allowed to fail. They have 0% interest on their loans. So this TARP money, this new stimulus package of $500 billion or $1 trillion or $2 trillion or however much they're going to get on this round really doesn't matter. Call it a loan. They're not going to pay the loan anyway. If they have to pay the loan, they already have a place where they can go for 0% interest on the dollar. All right, so if they get $500 billion free money, they could turn around, borrow from the government the 0% interest, pay off the loan, and they're set. Regular people can't do that. Small business can't do that. And I'm going to give you the details of the whole thing as we go along. So hey, good morning, Vinny DiMartini in the house. And we'll talk about the Larp too. There's the two brothers. I hate talking about these fuckers, but I'm going to talk about them because George Webb, right? Remember George Webb? I'll give you a whole history of what's happening with George Webb, and he's famous now in China. Half a million video views on one of his videos because he's now claiming that he knows who patient zero is for coronavirus. He's saying it's a U.S. plot to plant coronavirus in China. We did it. The U.S. government did it under these sneaky officials. So it's another George Webb LARP. I mean, George Webb, in the course of a week, I don't watch his show anymore, but when I did watch it, in the course of a week, George Webb can run through 5 or 6 of these scenarios where it's just stream of ass. He's making up these crazy scenarios, and sometimes I'll just give you a few of them. I'll give you a few of them when we get to that part of the story. But first, let's look at this. This is hysterical right here. We'll talk. So this lady's in Britain, right? She walks into the store, right? She's coronavirus bubble. Check this shit out. Man.
No, seriously, mate. Well, what's all that about?
What's that? Label. This one.
Oi! Can I honestly, actually keep me 2 meters, mate. What's all this about?
Oh no, she's self-isolation.
What's all that ball about?
Oh no, she's just.
Who are you?
Can you imagine if you were in the store with this lady?
Just her carer.
No, seriously though.
It's brilliant, really.
What's all that about? Excuse me, love.
I gotta get me one of those.
Doesn't want to see.
Are you
Seriously, no, sit 2 meters, please. Honestly.
No, I'm keeping the 2 meters, but seriously, mate. Are you self-isolating?
No, seriously.
No, you come 2 meters nearer me then, mate. Isolation.
So this is just a little story. It's pretty crazy, right? This fucking lady's
You're
just,
coming towards me.
I don't know if it's a blow-up thing. How the hell is she getting that balloon to stay up, man? It's brilliant. I guess it's like plastic or something, some kind of crazy
Is that
plastic.
why you're doing that?
Don't touch it, seriously. Because this is going.
Then she's outside in the car.
I've seen it all now. Sorry about that.
Did actually come in for shopping.
So walking down the street with the bubble. I thought that was hysterical, man. So, also in Russia, this is BreakYourOwnNews.com is reporting live. Breaking news: Russia unleashes more than 500 lions on its street to ensure that people are staying indoors during the pandemic outbreak. See, Putin knows what he's doing. Vladimir Putin released around 500 lions to make people stay indoors. Wow, that's a good idea, right? That should have worked, man, because people are fucking hard-headed and ignorant like me. I just get on the train. I don't give a fuck, really. I don't have no virus. I think it's fake. I think it's the common cold, 2.0. That's really all it is. I mean, I had it. I got sick, I got that fucking crazy-ass flu, like you feel like you're going to die, you're choking your brains out, and then you get better, and you're fine, and it's over. Is it worth... it was worth it. You get wait until you see the benefits that unemployed workers are going to get. They really worked. That really worked out. I got to say, it's good for them. I mean, in my view, it's prolonging the inevitable slavery. Wage labor slavery. But anyway, coronavirus is. We have it under control in Russia. They got lions roaming the street. That's a great idea. You want to see something? I'll give you a gaffe. Joe Biden just imploding. The Democrats got their guy, a senile old man with a pen. That was their vision. He's not going to win, obviously, but he's precisely what the Democrats want. They want a fool, an idiot, a dumb old man that takes out his pen and whatever they send him, he signs. And that's the ideal president for the Democrats. And they're not going to have their way. They're stuck with Trump for 4 more years. They could have had Sanders, but they're not interested in being fair, because this is not democracy. This is an oligarchy. God damn it. We can't have no voice of the people. How foolish. They want the people to come first in a country of 330 million people. How fucking ridiculous. They want 300 million people to get in front of big business. You can't have that, man. Sorry, Bernie. So here's their pick. Joe Biden, Gaff King. Listen to this, Gaff. Check this shit out.
Topics we talked about Trump saying the government would reassess the recommended period for keeping businesses shut and people at home. Are you at all concerned, as Trump said, that we cannot let the cure be worse than the problem itself?
We have to take care of the cure. That will make the problem worse no matter what. No matter what. We know what has to be done. We know you're tired of hearing the phrase, you got to flatten that curve where it's going up like this, people get it, and then comes down.
You realize what he said just makes no sense, right? It makes absolutely no sense. Listen.
Are you at all concerned, as Trump said, that we cannot let the cure be worse than the problem itself?
What Trump was saying is that the cure is keeping everybody keeping everybody home is actually worse than having a few people die of the flu. That's what Trump said.
To take care of the cure, that will make the problem worse no matter what.
You have to take care of the cure. That will make the problem worse no matter what. What the fuck are you talking about, you senile fuck?
No matter what. We know what has to be done. We know you're tired of hearing the phrase, you got to flatten that curve where it's going up like this, people get it, and then comes down. We got to flatten that curve. And we got to make sure that once, in fact, we have this under control, it doesn't come back. So what we should be focusing on is getting all the help necessary in terms of testing, in terms of access to the gear that our first responders, our doctors, our nurses need in treating people. We should be getting extra beds, hospital beds.
So this guy's a total fool, man. So Mark's County reporting in the chat, don't be a dick today. Vinny, let Lee Veldman, I know you guys don't like each other, whatever. I'm going to talk about LARPs, and there's going to be all kinds of LARP nonsense going on. But just let it be for a while, all right? Don't eat each other, or I won't talk about this stuff anymore. I'm not going to bring you this news. This is very interesting stuff. I'm going to talk about George Webb and his alleged thing with China, and I'm going to talk about his crazy brother, the fucking Dave Acton, the Stalker, right? As much as I don't want to talk about him, I'm going to bring them up again. But try not to eat each other, all right? Just be cool, be loving, in the chat, all right? That goes for you too, Lee Veldman. I know who you are. You love this kind of shit. So let's just talk a little bit about the coronavirus. It's the same. There's 467,000 global cases. 21,000 deaths so far. New York City, it's terrible. U.S. death toll, corona passes 1,000. Sick NYPD cops sent back to work. So it's just a shit show right now. As people, the virus is still spinning out of control. There's a couple of celebrities getting it. There's nothing much more to say about it. Right? What are we going to say? The same shit every day? Everything is on lockdown in the city. They're trying to block, now they're talking about closing down streets in New York City. I don't know, whatever, man. Believe what you want to believe, right? At this point, believe what you want to believe about the coronavirus. My prediction is that It's now at a point where the flu will bubble over. Maybe a few more people will die. It'll mostly be sick people, compromised people, and then it'll blow over. And the government's going to take a victory lap. Everybody, look how wonderful we did. We stopped the spread of the deadly coronavirus, and it's going to go right back to normal. And people are going to come out of their shells, and that's going to be the fucking end of it, right? And it'll probably within the month and a half, you'll see all that start to happen. Right? People are going to get all their stimulus package. They're going to forget all about this shit, man. Trust me. It's not about corona. Right? That's the cover story. It confirmed. All right, so let's talk about these knuckleheads. So George Webb, all right, George Webb, if you remember who George Webb is, this is George Webb. And George Webb just scored a article in Global Times, a very large Chinese circulating newspaper. U.S. urged to release health info of military athletes who came to Wuhan in October 2019. So here's George Webb. Look at the video. 570,000 views. Right? So they linked it in somewhere through this magazine. People in China were trying to find out who this journalist is, this brilliant journalist. Now, just for a background, George Webb has said, this is just a short list. George Webb said that Alpha Jolie, if you remember about 2 years ago, Alpha Jolie, some African guy from New Jersey, was the de facto killer of Seth Rich. He was hired to kill Seth Rich. George Webb said that. George Webb said that there was a dirty nuclear bomb on the Hearst, Memphis. Remember that episode, right? Where they shut down a port in South Carolina. That's George Webb, dirty bomb. Right? Bill Clinton hitman killed his gal pal Jen Moore. You remember that story? I covered that extensively because it just didn't add up. I had thought that one of the Larpers themselves actually knocked off Jen Moore, and it turned out to be nothing of the sort. It turned out to be a tired, old lady with older woman with chronic, heart problems and all kinds of shit living with George Webb, and they drank each other to death. Alcohol George and fucking Jen Moore, right? So that's another bullshit story, right? George Webb has also said that Andrew McCabe targeted him specifically and wanted to destroy his life. Remember when he was running around saying that stuff too? And yours truly, he said that I was a SEIU for talking about the Jen Moore situation. He accused me of being an SEIU hitman for the Department of Sanitation. That when I went to interview him in Washington, I wasn't going down there to talk to him. I was going down there to assassinate him. Right? And other things too. George Webb has said that, this reporter that I'm I was the guitar player for Soundgarden. I have a sister who's a scientist in Stanford University and a biology major. Nothing that he says is true based on I've debunked him a whole bunch of times. If you care to look at the videos, here's the videos. Just go to my page and go down my channel and put in George Webb, and there's 100, maybe 25, 30 videos where I basically debunked George Webb when he was hanging out with Jason Goodman, all this nonsense, right? So if you want to look at those things, and I did, I thought at one point it was, I did wonder if he actually knocked off his gal pal, and that turned out to be not true as of yet. But what is definitely true is that Bill Clinton did not step in and kill Jen Moore. Right? She died of she had a pacemaker. Right? So that's just another bullshit story. And without talking about George Webb, we must also talk about his crazy brother, which is Dave SWEIGERT, the Port of Neches bomber. You remember we talked about him? He reared, I don't know where he is now, but he reared his head out. And I had a report on this, right? He was actually, again, because that's the nature of the LARP. The LARP is to integrate media, people like me, into the story, try to weave into the story so that we do what I'm doing right now, which is talking about him, right? So we'll talk more about Dave the Stalker in a second, but I want to get to this article on George Webb. So that's who George Webb is, right? George Webb is a confirmed conspiracy theorist. And you see the name in the back, Matja Benassi. Matja Benassi. How we doing, by the way? Are we good? All right, cool. Matja Benassi is the name of a person that George Webb is saying is the de facto patient 1, based on absolutely no evidence. There is no evidence with George Webb. George Webb is Mr. Word Salad. Let's just listen to a little piece of what he has to say.
One group, and the idea is even with just a very few people, 6, 7 people, by the time you get to the end of the first round, you have more information than experts actually have. And this is, you see this every day with Wikipedia. With, it starts out with the beagle is a dog, and then you end up with, the American.
This is George Webb Word Salad. What are you talking about, George? Nobody
all
fucking
that sort of thing. So here's
Nobody
we're
cares.
going to just go over briefly the facts. Again, you can watch my video yesterday if you don't remember. But the facts here are Matja Benassi is an armed diplomatic security officer. We're going to have a presentation.
So if you feel like watching this video, I can't stomach it, but he for 15 minutes he goes on about how Matja Benassi, right? It's somehow connected to and I'll read the story to you, right? So the most important part of this is that 570,000 people fell for this absolute line of bullshit, and George Webb is famous. George Webb is surging again. His stock is going up. So here's how the article broke. U.S. urged to release health info of military athletes who came to Wuhan in October 2019. Brilliant play. George Webb is injecting himself into the center of the Wuhan coronavirus scandal. Right? Trump saying the China virus, and George Webb comes to the rescue and finds some sort of word salad to tie the two together. So listen to this. Chinese citizens and experts urged the U.S. authority to release health infection information of U.S. military delegation, which came to Wuhan for military World Games in October to end the conjuncture about U.S. military personnel bringing COVID-19 to China. So George Webb has got his foot right in the middle of this thing because he's naming somebody. He's naming a woman. Who the fuck knows who this woman is? I guarantee you it has nothing to do with no Wuhan. And it has nothing to do with no COVID-19. An American journalist. That's funny in itself, calling George Webb a journalist. Claimed one U.S. military athlete. I hope that people watching this and see George Webb's name in the video will now realize that this individual is a conspiracy kook with a long history of making shit up. All right? That's the reality of it, right? Out drinking with one hand, got the glass of wine in the other hand. He's got his guy pal Jason Goodman on the other side, and they're sitting on the couch and they're spinning stories and spinning bullshit. That's who this guy is, right? So he pulled a fast one over on the Chinese. It's pretty funny, really. Could be patient. So he's saying that this athlete could be patient 0. The Chinese publication apparently believes. George Webb, an investigative journalist in Washington, D.C., claimed in recent videos and tweets that he believes Matja Benassi, an armed diplomatic driver and cyclist who was in Wuhan in October for the cycling competition in the military World Games, could be patient 0. What a fucking crock of shit. In the report by the U.S. Department of Defense official website, Matja Benassi has participated 50-mile cycling road race in Wuhan. So this person apparently was there. So that's how George whips it together. Oh, Wuhan. They brought the virus, and somehow I guarantee you with George, it was some kind of diplomatic plan. They planned the whole thing. They were going to plant they were going to plant coronavirus in fucking China and blame somebody. It was espionage. I don't know if that's where he's going with the story, but I guarantee that's where he's going. Webb also quoted a military lab, Fort Detrick Laboratory, that handles high-level disease-causing organisms. There you go, such as Ebola. All right, so there's George saying his conclusion, although without strong evidence. His conclusion without, how about this? His conclusion without any evidence triggered questions on Chinese social media as it came only days after a petition was submitted to the White House website on March 10, listing some coincidences in time between the Fort Detrick Labs closure and COVID-19 breakout. So what George Webb is trying to say is that this 50-mile cyclist went to Wuhan not to ride her bicycle around Wuhan, China, but to plant COVID-19 in China as a conspiracy to cause Chinese to die of flu. It's ridiculous, right? So what's going on in the chat, man? You guys bored of this story? Because it's in all seriousness, why hasn't George Webb been locked up? I don't know. I mean, it's freedom of speech. I mean, he's allowed to say what he wants to say, right? There's no doubt about that. He's within his rights to speak, but that's probably why. So there's the video. There's the article that George Webb is now famous in China. So we'll follow that story. Right, and again, if you want to watch my debunked videos, if you're watching this to find out who George Webb is, and you're attracted to this particular story, you might want to look at some of my videos that debunk George Webb. Right, again, he's called me every kind of crazy, connection, making up stuff. I'm a hitman for the SEIU. I'm a plant and that's not even talking about his crazy brother. Let's talk about his crazy brother. His crazy brother is George Swaggart, George Swaggart, Dave Acton, the actor, the failed actor. Right now, Dave is also it's almost not fair to mention his brother in the story where George Webb is caught in a lie. But I'm going to do it anyway because it is odd that they are brothers, and at this point, Dave Swaggart, is a confirmed conspiracy theorist. Not in my words, but in the words of a federal judge in New York has stated that Dave Acton is a incomprehensible and illogical online conspiracy theorist. That is in a summary judgment by a federal judge. So in reporting that news, Dave Acton, Webb's brother, did a whole series of videos attacking me. 100 videos. I'll give you. Here's the PDF. I had to report him to the FBI. Right? You remember when I did this? I had to report Acton to the FBI. Right? And then he tried to whip me into a story that I was in a plot, because I reported on him, and that's what they do. They take the reporter and mix this. The reporter is now is conspiring to get them. Right? That's what George Webb did. His brother does the same thing. And in this case, he tried to say that this reporter was involved in a plot to blow something up with a flamethrower in Texas, in Corpus Christi, right? And then so I reported him to the FBI when he made this crazy video about him. So if you want to watch Dave Acton, Dave Swaggart, George Swaggart, whatever he calls himself, Acton the actor, right? And again, you remember when he had videos of the flamethrower? Listen to
Corpus Christi.
So just
lady in Corpus Christi,
right.
And she was all upset. And
you remember he had these videos of the flamethrower? He makes a video about flying one of these things over a chemical plant, and then 2 days later, a chemical plant at Port Neches in Texas blows up. Look at this thing, man. So this is Dave Acton. This is Dave Acton doing his thing, right? Whipping up these crazy things. So if you wanted to follow that story, so George Webb, the brother, is now spinning a conspiracy theory that Patient Zero is a U.S. plant, a government somehow spy or carrier of the coronavirus who planted that virus in China for whatever reason, I don't know. Word salad. I don't know what the reason is, right? And that's George Webb. In now his brother is also suing Jason Goodman because he alleges that Jason Goodman hurt his feelings, right? And then for reporting that, SWEIGERT then attacks me. I had to report him to the very judges that are overseeing his case. I don't want to get too winded on this. It's very convoluted, but I'll leave the link down below if you want to read the letter that I sent with George D. SWEIGERT putting together 100 hit videos on this reporter and Thomas Schoenberger, his partner in crime. They work together. They make videos. Conte, I'm going to kill you, you motherfucker. I'm going to get you. And SWEIGERT, I'm going to sue you. I'm going to sue you, Mr. Conte. Mr. Conte, you are getting sued. You're getting high. This is Dave. You're getting sued. This guy, you motherfucker, I'm going to get you. You talked about my kid, you motherfucker. I hate you, Conte. You suck. Right, so these two idiots, right? So here's what I had to do. I had to report them. I reported them. And the long story short, I found this video. So Dopey Dave, right? Dopey Dave video apparently from Monkey Savant sums up what happened. So SWEIGERT, Dave SWEIGERT, right, the brother, the stalker brother who stalks you, right? Apparently he, just listen to the video. Check this shit out.
The case of SWEIGERT vs. Goodman was tabled with a possible opportunity for SWEIGERT and Goodman to return with their alleged evidence. All of SWEIGERT's other frivolous motions implicating non-party litigants were denied. Though SWEIGERT initiated the lawsuit against Goodman, both parties were found to have a valid claim of defamation against each other.
Now that's very true, right? That statement right there is very true. SWEIGERT sues Goodman, and then the judge finds SWEIGERT guilty of defamation, at least in a part. So he shot himself in the foot, and all the other shit, the non-party litigants, which I was one of them. He tried to drag my name into it. Right? That was also thrown in the garbage by the judges. I have the piece of paper here.
Therefore, both parties are likely to be found guilty of defamation. Remember, the presiding judge has already ruled that SWEIGERT and Goodman are illogical and incomprehensible online conspiracy theorists and have wasted the court's time and resources. The judge warned there would be consequences or sanctions for filing further frivolous paperwork. The case therefore sets an important precedent that informs the courts about online stalkers like D. George SWEIGERT and the consequences of burdening others and the courts with frivolous legal arguments.
That's what, I mean, as far as I remember, that's what SWEIGERT wanted to do. He wanted to set a precedence in the courts. Well, he just did. Now, anytime SWEIGERT enters a court, all you have to do is present the facts, present the summary judgment that the judge put on him. He may still win something. He may still get a little bit of a defamation over Jason Goodman, and but I bet the penalty will be $1. Right? He's going to get screwed in the end. So let's listen to a little more, and then I'll get into the. I'm very sorry for doing this, having to get into this, and I'm going to talk about the stimulus package. We'll go into it now that everybody's here.
Whistleblowing on channel board websites and social media has become a hobby for many. Everyone is an investigator. SWEIGERT's accusation about Goodman's Port of Charleston dirty bomb blunder is a modern-day case in point. People like SWEIGERT who target others with harassment campaigns with the sole intention of initiating legal disputes are a growing problem. They play out secret agent scenarios and escape into counterinsurgency folly, and in the end, they always claim to be the victim. Others get involved in the fight for truth only to find they are trapped at the center of a full-blown rabbit hole. Almost everyone knows it's a game, or a live-action role-play, but there are professional stalkers like D. George SWEIGERT who use these situations to sue others for profit and control. Yep. It is a growing trend that must be dealt with. Parties like Goodman, SWEIGERT, and SWEIGERT's brother George Webb are established online predators who take info from fake sources and treat it as fact. Sometimes they write their own scripts, but most of the time they are actors in a school play. There are real-world consequences when you lose your integrity like that. Getting caught in these fake news time warps can lead to homicide, suicide, or both. The use of sock accounts to fill up comments with supporting propaganda is also well documented. It's spy versus spy social media.
Wow, thank you, Monkey Savant, for putting that one up, man. That shit is fucking crazy, man. It sums it up, right? It sums it up, man. So, and also in LARP news, we're watching this guy. This is Anthony Camillo, the QAnon killer, who's now sitting in jail. August 13 of this year, he'll have another hearing and possibly a trial by the summertime. Right? Is the guy who said that again, following these kind of LARPers, goes down the rabbit hole and listens to them, and was convinced that QAnon, that whatever information he was getting, whether it was QAnon directly or surrounded by LARPers that surround Q, they told him to go out and do a hit, take one for the team. So we're still following that story. I don't know if he really believed it or not, but this is how he showed up in court. With the Q on his hand, you remember? He had the infamous Q painted on his hand. United we stand, MAGA forever, Q. Q. Remember that guy? So it's it's just an extension of the LARPs. So Mark's Conte reporting. Let's talk about the world of bailout. Wow, the market's up 397. Holy smokes, it's coming back. We're coming back. We're Trump strong. What does it all mean? So we'll keep watching the media. So here's the stimulus package. After a half an hour of talking about LARPers. I'm very sorry I did that. 40 minutes. Anyway, but hey, listen, man, we got nothing else to talk about. All right, so this is what it is. What's in the $2 trillion coronavirus stimulus bill? Right here. Direct payments to individuals. Now, this is good, right? Under the plan, as it was being negotiated, single Americans would receive $1,200, married couples $2,400, and parents would see $500 each for children under 17. So that's pretty good. Now, there was also, I read the thing a little bit. It's a lot of pages, and I really don't like to read. But this thing talks about where I do believe people with Social Security, any form of income, will fall into the category of getting that bailout. A lot of people are going to get the $1,200. So people who are on SSI, SSD, Social Security benefits, older folks are also, it appears, are also going to get a $1,200 bailout. Anybody with any kind of income, right? Income, as I understand it, and documented work from 2018, 2019 in the form of taxes will be receiving $1,200. However, the payments would start to phase out after $75,000 a year. Who cares about those people? If you're making $100,000 a year and you can't take a month off, you're doing something wrong. Right? The Department of Education would suspend payments on student loan borrowers without penalty through September 30th. Why not eliminate the student debt? Why not bail out the students? Nope, they're not going to bail it out. So there's that. Something about IDs. Historic boost for unemployment. Now, this is really good. This is really, really impressive. If you, at least for a year, I'm going to get to the tragedy of the whole story, whether you believe it or not. This is a big setup. This is basically hiring more slaves, de-arming the slaves, right? Instead of people being out on the street protesting that the corporations are getting $1 trillion in free money so that they can buy up small businesses and enslave the remainder of the country, people are locked up in their houses, right? You can't go outside, you can't complain, you can't picket, right? You can't do that, right? Because social distancing, right? But anyway, so historic boost for unemployment benefits. In an unprecedented expansion of unemployment insurance, the federal government would give jobless workers an extra $600 a week for 4 months on top of the state benefits. So if you're getting unemployment, right, if you got fired or quit or whatever the fuck, you got bumped out because of corona. Say you were a restaurant worker and you lost your job. You apply for unemployment, say you got $300 a month. On top of that, you would get $600 per week for 4 months. That's a good deal. That's like 6, 12, 18, that's $2,400 a month for four months. You're almost getting 10 grand, a $9,000 stimulus on top of your regular unemployment. And more than that, lawmakers wanted to add 13 weeks of extension, which would be fully covered by the federal government. So they're extending 13 weeks. I think it's 26 weeks now, plus 13. That's a good deal. I mean, if you take the money and run. Listen, you take whatever they're going to give you. So if you had a job and you lost that job while you had corona, you're looking at just apply for your benefits, and then you're going to get an extra $600 a week for 4 months and a 13-week extension. So you're doing pretty good. As long as you were working on the books and you got bumped out, you're not doing bad, right? All right. So here's where it gets crazy, right? Now this is where the small businesses are getting screwed. Instead of a bailout, they're getting a loan program. And as I said, I tried to read through this loan program, and it is so convoluted and so complicated and so difficult to try to figure out. All right, where's the fucking application? Right? They probably haven't printed them yet, but at some point, you're going to have to jump through all of these insane loopholes and how to apply for this stuff, right? Oh, one other thing on the unemployment thing that I saw is that people in a gig economy that aren't necessarily available or eligible for unemployment can also get it. For example, say you're a street performer. Say you play guitar on the subway like I do, and you were making $100 a day. All right, and suddenly there's nobody out there anymore. That's your gig economy. There's no more money to be made, right? And you choke. All right, so you could also, according to this proposal, gig economy people like that could also apply for unemployment and probably get something, which is pretty good. Right? So get on it. So if you were doing something off the books, or not off the books, but you haven't filed, you file at the end of the year, right? And then there's an extension on when you can file taxes all the way till July of 2020, July of this month. Not April, but May, June, July. You get an extra 3 months. So if you were in a gig economy throughout 2019 and into 2020, you could probably also get unemployment. So that's something to think about. I saw that on another page. I think Politico reported that. So here's the $500 billion steal. Okay, listen to the numbers. The Treasury Department can provide $500 billion in loans, loan guarantees, and investments. It's mostly loans. So small to medium-sized businesses will be able to apply for this. That specifically includes $25 billion for passenger air carriers, $4 billion for cargo air, $17 billion for businesses that work in national security. The rest of the funds, $454 billion, are given wide latitude to provide loans to businesses, statues, states, and municipalities. Meaning that it's a giant slush fund, and they're going to have an attorneys general and a oversight committee in Congress to allocate who's going to get the money. Basically, whoever's going to give some of that money back to the Democratic Party so that they can run shit sandwich Joe Biden is probably going to get the money. You're in one of the most corrupt money-grabbing situations right now, right? What small businesses are going to get that money? Probably, in my estimation, not a lot of people are going to get it because of the red tape, because of the line, because of the sheer desire not to give it to you. Right? Why? Because they're devaluing assets. That's what this is called, right? This is the bait and switch, right? Wall Street and corporations, and you may not believe this and you may not agree with me, but I could tell you that this is what's going on, for sure. That Wall Street is now that small businesses are shut down, right? They're choking. They can't work. Literally, some of them are coughing their brains out, using too much toilet paper, are now breaking down, and the doors are closed. There's no income. A month later, month and a half go by, no income, right? So now to get a bailout, now they're weak. They're weak. Oh, it's so fucking weak, right? What happens? You have the banks, right? They're saying that the Treasury is going to run the system, right? But now you have banks, right? Oh, you need help. Oh, small business, you need help. You need money. Oh, and so the banks that get money for free now, 0% interest. All right, they're getting, right, they get stronger, and the little guy gets pushed out. Small to medium-sized businesses, this is a disaster for them. Disaster. They should be getting the bailout. They should be getting the $500 billion slush fund. That's just free money here. Like Wall Street. Wall Street, the market goes down, they give them $1.5 trillion from out of nowhere. They pull it out of their ass, no questions asked. But small business is going to have to fight. There's a specific provision in the program for direct loans to mid-sized businesses defined as 500 to 10,000 employees, as well as non-profit organizations. No payments will be due after the first 6 months. Okay, great. Trump businesses can't get money. That's just spin. I don't even want to read it. No money for border. That's stupid. Airlines and airports get what they want. The package includes $32 billion in grants. That's free money for wages and benefits to the decimated airline industry. That includes $25 billion for passengers. I think I already read this. Well, we already saw this. So the airlines are getting it. Hospitals are getting $117 billion. $100 billion for social emergency fund, $65 billion for hospitals with the rest funneled to doctors. Lots of money going into the hospitals. That's good. Contractors and gig workers. This is good. Independent contractors and so-called gig workers will be eligible to receive federal aid. The language could provide additional certainty to millions of part-time workers who drive for Uber and deliver for Amazon. So gig workers, you might be able to get some money out of this. Protections against foreclosure and eviction. Okay, great. $25 million for the Kennedy Center. More funding for food assistance. Not really. So if you were getting, while it appears that the bill provides billions in additional funds for supplemental nutrition assistance program, SNAP, and child nutrition programs, it would not expand eligibility or benefits. So apparently they're giving $100 billion to food banks, which nobody goes to anyway, rather than just putting the money on their food stamp card. Remember, I was an HRA worker. I know all about this stuff. All you got to do is just add more money to the card, and that people would have more money to spend on food. That's not what they did. So hungry people got no bailout whatsoever. Right? Workers got a bailout. The bankers got unlimited money. Right? It's not $500 billion that they're getting. Remember, when you drop the interest rate to zero, they have unlimited access to money. Unlimited. They cannot fail. They gamble. They lose. Daddy, give me more money. I need more play money. Give me some more of that money. That's the situation that the banks are in. And now what they're going to do is they're going to consolidate wealth and press the smaller organizations that are going to have to pay back their money. They have to pay back their money. And they're going to squeeze them. Right? So you got the great squeeze going on right here. Right? What else political say? Here's what's in the 2000. It has nothing to do with coronavirus, by the way. Have you heard any real? It's just an excuse to loot the country for more and more. The big corporations are going to take control of a lot of the smaller organizations, and they're fueling the peasants, the peons, with crumbs, enough to survive for 6 months, and then when that runs out, they go right back into slavery. Right, the people, right, you get nothing out of it. The corporations get stronger, the monopoly expands, the markets go up, the bubble. The only reason why the market isn't soaring right now is because there's language in there that says they're not allowed to buy. There's specific language in the bill that says that they can't buy back stock. They can't do stock buybacks, meaning that what they would do in the past is they'd get the bailout, they get the money, the free money, and then they go into the market and buy their own stock and jack the price of their stocks up, which is connected to their compensation packages. The higher stock, they could give each other more money. Their stock values go up because they're all shareholders in the corporation. And it does not trickle down. Do you understand? It doesn't trickle down to the real people, to regular people. It has nothing to do with that. It never did. So there's language now in the bill that says that with this new money, corporations can't step back into the market and buy back their own stock. That's the language that I saw. What else? Politico is pretty much reporting the same thing. Right? And here's the bill if you want to read it. It's online. It's out there for you. So Mark's Conte reporting. Whew, that was a lot there. That was a lot, man. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. There was a lot to say about that, right? So I hope I didn't drag everybody down with the Larp stuff, but it was important to talk about. I think that I still believe in a safe internet for whatever it's worth. And you got these LARPers still running around. Don't give a shit about anybody, right? And just in talking about it now, there'll be more. They'll come at me. Oh, now Conte's now watch the conspiracies around me start to come out in their stories, right? You'll see all that. But hey, listen, you got to do what you got to do. You got to talk about it, right? So the other thing is this money. It's not a big deal anymore to cut trillions of dollars to corporations. It's business as usual. This is how they're going to do it. There's absolutely no way of stopping the monopoly, stopping the oligarchs from owning everybody and everything. That's the direction we're heading. You can get out in the street all you want, but they got a cure for that one. Just run on the tragedy. Now, is the whole thing orchestrated? Was the whole coronavirus orchestrated to make this happen? I don't really think so. I think that it's more action-reaction, where there is this virus, and at first, for example, with Fox News, they were reporting it like I reported, which is it's just an exaggerated flu. It's deadly to people that are on the deathbed anyway. Right? It's not a global emergency as they're trying to paint it. It's a seasonal kind of flu that's going to pass. It's not the bubonic plague. It's not polio. It's not going to wipe out a quarter of the population. That's a myth. It's a myth. It's a strand of the flu. That's the way that it initially was reported. And then it kicks in. Oh, if we could look in China, they emptied out the streets. Oh, if we can only do that here and get these pain-in-the-ass protesters and liberals and people who want fair elections the fuck out of our hair. Right? Shut them down. Put them in their house. Right? And lock them down. And if we can only have that in the United States, we could loot the country again and we could get our stimulus. We could get our trillions of free money. And we could fuck over the smaller businesses that are running up against us now because they're actually profitable and we're not. Fuck these small businesses. Let's get them. So that's what you got going on. It was an opportunity. I don't think it's never planned that way, but it's because big business writes the legislation and writes the rules. That's what they're going to do in crises. If you look into this bill, this massive, bill, it's all language that props up, large corporations again. So there you go. Mark's Conte reporting. I hope I'm not. Am I buffering at all? Or no, we're good. So anyway, man. So I know I was a little winded today, but Mark's Conte reporting on the coronavirus, on the thank you. Hey, congratulations, George Webb. We should be congratulating George Webb on his 500,000 hits. He's right in the center, in the epicenter of the coronavirus scandal with China. His crazy brother will probably sue 25 people. Anybody who talks about him is going to get sued. You motherfucker. You got his partner. Motherfucker. We're going to get you. We're going to sue somebody. You got those guys running around, man. And you got, so enjoy your stimulus, man. Enjoy your fucking package, man. Because I certainly will, man. I'm going to buy some shit, man. My $1,200, man. Fuck that shit. All right, man. I'm going to get me some, man. Play some music. Play this song again. Oh, you know what else? I think we already heard this one. Let's get another one. Let's get the other song. Let's see how good she is. Hold on a second. See if it's a one song wonder. There's just something about her voice, the way her voice kind of hangs over the music. Just attractive. Thank you, everybody, man. Thank you, Vinny DiMartini in the chat. Thank you for not eating each other about the Larp stuff. And we'll be back again, man. Enjoy your money, man. Enjoy your dollars and cents. And enjoy the music. Peace, everybody.